Hello. Good to see you here, Vin. I'm going to give it another minute or so to see if anyone else is going to join. There were a few more people who registered to join. And then once, after a couple of minutes, I will go through the items in the agenda. Let's see here. Agenda for today. Today is the 18th. Yeah. And so today we're going to talk about the new items in the latest release 0.45, where we've introduced the ND built-in cache, which will let us see, or which will give us better insight into things with non-deterministic built-in, like HTTP send or random integer. And so, so we'll look at that, and then we're going to look at a new built-in function for regex.replace. Pretty simple. And then the last one, we're going to talk about object.union and new optimizations that we've done for it. Let me also pull up the release notes here. All right, cool. Got the release notes up. Hi, Darius. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Good to see you here.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Yeah, doing all right. Cool. All right, then I think it's about time or 3 past to start the meeting.
Sorry about that, man. I was running over from, we have a stand up at my 9 to 5 and it ran over a little bit. So apologies for being a few minutes late. Sorry.
No, you're all good. I normally always give it a couple of minutes for these open source meetings. You know, people are always trying to slot them in between everything else. I totally get it. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And so, I was just talking about the agenda. We only have 3 things, 3 main things that went into the last release 0.45, and we're going to go through each of those in order. First one here is ND built-in cache. This essentially makes it easier to highlight things with non-deterministic outputs like HTTP send and the random integer. And so we're just going to do a quick example here. Grab this guy. Start up our OPA server locally. Actually, wait, sorry, I have to share more of my screen. You can't see this. Me stop share, new share. Should share my whole desktop. And so
where are you located at, Peter?
I am in Denver, Colorado.
Nice.
How about yourself?
I'm in Nashville.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've only been there once for like a day for a concert, and then I left. But one day I want to make it back there.
I go to Denver probably 2-3 times a year, man.
It's a fun spot. I've been here for 3 months now. I like it a lot. It's been pretty cool. I'm excited for the winter. I think that getting some snowboarding in will be fun. I've never, like the only winters I've ever been in were Chicago winters, and it's not that fun.
No. Yeah, you definitely have a lot better time, I'm sure, in Colorado. We're gonna go to like Keystone or somewhere.
Yeah, probably Keystone, Breckenridge. Hit them all up. There's like so many options here.
Yeah. I go every year, so no doubt.
Cool. All right.
Sorry.
You're all good. Let's see here. So we're gonna start this OPA server. You guys can see this screen, right?
Yes.
Cool. All right, we're starting the OPA server. We're giving this extra flag here. This is OPA run to start it as a server, and then we are just setting this extra flag here. This extra flag here. For this is saying to turn on the non-deterministic built-in cache, and then go to another terminal, and then I drop this in the meeting notes. Here is the query that we're going to run. This is a simple post query. We're sending this, essentially we're sending a curl with a post. Localhost 8181 is what OPA spins up on naturally. And this is the query that we're running. We're just running the random integer, looking for a number between 0 and 15. And then we are returning the result 12, very simple. And now we can go back to the console log running OPA. Check this out. And so what we're looking for in here are those new lines that basically say what is going on. So let's just go through this line by line. It's not really super easy to go through these, but let's just look at it. So here we can see the decision ID is for the request we just made. We're seeing that same output that we got. And what we're looking for, let me see here. What we're looking for is, yeah, this is what we'd be looking for. Let's actually copy this. Maybe this will be a little bit easier to see in like a sublime text or something. Yeah, and then we can look for, right, what we're looking for are these new log messages. There we go. This is what I was looking for. And so this is showing us that this is just showing that now we've logged what that random integer would have been, whereas previously this information would have just disappeared because we wouldn't have known what to do with that information. So that is the first new item from the 0.45 release. Does anyone have any questions on that? Cool. Then we will move on to the next one. Next one here, we have the regex.replace. With regex.replace, let me open this up. Just made a very simple Rego playground here. So with this, I have a test string. My name is Bob, and then we have a rule, an output rule here. We're calling that regex.replace built-in function. We're looking at that string, and then here we have the regex for dot, which is saying any character, any 3 characters, which is signified by this, and then the $sign is at the end of the string. So what we're looking for is to replace the last 3 characters of the string with the word Peter. Evaluate, and we can see that the test string, my name is Bob, and the output becomes my name is Peter. Pretty simple stuff. Feel free to click on this, click on the link in the meeting notes and test this out yourself. And then with that, we have the last big thing that went out in 0.45 are optimizations for the object.union built-in. I'm not really going to dive into this because these optimizations are very similar to a lot of the optimizations in the past couple office hours. So I think just going back and looking at the other ones if you want to see how these optimizations kind of happened. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna open it up to questions one more time, and then just general questions. If you guys are interested in have specific questions about your OPA setups or anything, let me know. Oh, hey, Philip. When did you get here?
Just dropped in.
Cool.
Yeah, I have a question. So this is Darius. I am working on a project now where I am basically using a platform as, kind of a security infrastructure as a service. And what I want to do is basically, have the CloudTrail logs and different logs and things like that come through through the agent and basically go to the OPA agent. I'm wondering, how would I go about connecting these two? Is there an API connection that I need to create there? Number one, and then number two, would basically when I deploy this, would I need to set up an OPA server to basically, I guess, communicate with once the telemetry is taken from the agent and sent to the OPA? How does that connection work exactly? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Cool, sounds good. Let's pull up the docs here. Yeah, I don't know that we have a specific integration with CloudTrail. I know that we have some docs on uploading directly to S3. And so I'm wondering if there's an easy way. Let me see
So
here.
I'll just so I'm using as a thing called Lima Charlie. Lima Charlie is like a endpoint detection and response agent, and really, you're also able to send a lot of different telemetry to it. It's like one, yeah, that's it. So I'm using that, building a platform where I want to, basically be able to use this for something like a virtual CISO to go in, get this telemetry, and show basically, are we in compliance with configuration and things by running this agent. So this agent would be able to pull in, like I said, I guess it'd be CloudTrail, CloudWatch, whatever, how exactly would I be able to pull the telemetry that I'm getting from the agent? How would I be able to feed that to OPA and set up configuration to align with like HIPAA or ISO 27001 and things like that? How would I maybe be able to do that? Does it make any sense at all? I know I'm
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, I
rambling.
get what you're saying now. I had it backwards in my head. I thought you were trying to send the OPA data to CloudTrail. You're trying to audit the CloudTrail data through OPA, though.
Yes, correct.
Gotcha.
Is that the right way of thinking that?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. I had it backwards in my head at first. Okay, cool. Yeah. So essentially, what you're going to want to do is right with that CloudTrail data. First, you got to just let's see here. Got to figure out how to like export it. So CloudTrail like export, right, and then with
So I know how to get the telemetry to Lima Charlie, right?
okay.
I'm wondering
And
how do I get what I'm getting to Lima Charlie to OPA? Do I need to create a different output and send that to OPA?
yeah, so you're gonna run OPA probably as a server then. That would probably be the easiest thing to do here. Let me see where the operating docs, deployments. So we have like deployment options. And so yeah, like the easiest thing, probably running it as a server.
And
Where
Docker.
is it exactly? Yeah, a Docker server works. You can run it directly on a host. And so like there's just a bunch of different deployment options here. And then so when you're running OPA, set this up as a server with the information in Lima Charlie, you're gonna want to just connect that to OPA. So you're gonna set up I don't know, maybe it's like a cron job, or if you want to do it on every single piece that comes in as it comes in. But then you're going to take your configuration data that you're pumping into Lima Charlie, and now you're going to send it to OPA. And so, but then you're going to have to create like a rule set that basically defines what you're expecting this information to look like and what the output's going to be. So if this configuration data from Lima Charlie says that we have CloudTrail information, it logged X, Y, and Z violations, and you want to transform that data with Rego to create some sort of output. That's something that you have to define in your OPA and Rego policies.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So would I send it to OPA using like a webhook or
A
exactly?
webhook would work, yeah. So it's like so how I was sending to like localhost 8181, right? Like you can set up a server and then have Lima Charlie send it to that server address instead, right? Obviously, create your security group rules to allow the connection between the two, and then you're gonna hit like this end piece here is the policy is going to be like which policy rule you want to validate it against, and so yeah, so let me see here. Maybe it'd be easier if I wonder if we have any like policy examples that are pretty easy. Or I don't know, Philip, do you have any easier ways of explaining this?
Sorry, I was zoned there for the last minute or two. What specifically are you attempting to do?
Basically, he's just trying to connect this this tool called Lima Charlie to OPA. So he's validating his CloudTrail data from Amazon with Lima Charlie, and he wants to pipe this now into OPA.
Well,
yeah.
let me rephrase. It's
is it able
cloud agnostic. I'm gonna say cloud agnostic.
Okay, cloud agnostic.
Yeah.
Yes, so he's piping all his data into Lima Charlie, and then he wants to look at the information in Lima Charlie and evaluate that with OPA and Rego.
I have never used Lima Charlie, but what I will say is if it has the ability to send chunks of data as JSON blobs to an arbitrary like external auth server.
The outputs right there.
Yeah, if it has that as an option, then you can definitely hook it up to OPA, but you will have to write a custom policy for it.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I see outputs long. See,
Okay.
destination.
Okay, so it does look like it'll spit out JSON, which is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So OPA does extremely well if you can feed it a blob of JSON in that has like a known format. Then you can build a policy around that to, rip out the fields that you care about and see, are these things what I expect them to be? And OPA can either transform the document or OPA can spit out a completely new document. And document in this case is just a JSON blob. And you can like spit out a new document that just is like allow, deny, or you can do something completely custom. But the short of it is if you are able to send a JSON blob to OPA, OPA can do something with it.
Okay.
And hopefully if the service sending the JSON blob is able to handle like a JSON blob coming back to it,
Mm-hmm.
OPA can definitely work with that.
Okay.
Yeah, think of it as like you can post your data to an OPA server and it'll spit back a response. And so if Lima Charlie has a way to send data for, I guess, like approval or logging to an external service, then OPA can very easily be the thing that it uses for that. I think like one of our like GraphQL examples that isn't quite ready yet, but I had a tutorial half written for it was, I want to say it was like Hasura, where every incoming GraphQL query you could like send off to the side to an auth server to see if it's allowed or not. And OPA absolutely shines in that kind of capacity where it gets an input, it does something with that input, and then it sends back something to the caller. And so if you're able to get Lima Charlie to work kind of like that, where OPA is kind of sitting on the side and making decisions about things, then yeah, that'll be about perfect.
Yeah, you definitely in Lima Charlie through the outputs, you can choose, which streams or outputs you want to use, like, all events, so, you can do detections, you can do like audit, who's accessing things. So yes, you can definitely break it out that way. So okay. All right.
Yeah. The absolute worst case scenario is that if Lima Charlie itself will not do what you need, then you might end up sending your events to like some, like maybe 50 lines of Python, like server that you write yourself that handles the bouncing things back and forth between the different parties.
If OPA is able to push it back, it's, it has an API that's able to, take input as well. So I think that would definitely work. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm basically like just looking at this, my instincts tell me there's a very high chance you can get these two systems to work together, and it's just a question of how do you duct tape them together so they do their job. Yeah.
I will give it a go. Do you guys have like an email address or something that you guys check?
Slack is the best tool there. Yeah, Slack and GitHub discussions. If you have like a specific example that you want to write up to say that, hey, look, I have these outputs coming from Lima Charlie, I'm feeding them into OPA in this way, right? Like you can create a GitHub discussion post that kind of has all the finer details. If you have a quick question about like, hey, where do I find the docs for this or something, like you drop the question in Slack and we can point you towards whatever you need.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's also the Rego playground that gets linked to pretty frequently in the help channel. Yeah, this is it. So this is kind of like the Go playground where you can write code and then click evaluate and see what the output will be.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely a fantastic debugging tool One of the things that's nice about this is you'll notice there's a little publish button that allows you to actually get a permalink to your code example, and it can be a very useful thing to have when you're like trying to help people help you debug why your policy isn't working the way you think it is. Yeah.
This is awesome. Do y'all have like, I guess code examples or any kind of frameworks where someone may have, use OPA to, set up a framework or, to check against a framework?
Yeah, we have the contrib folder. It hasn't been super active recently, but there's a good amount of examples in here that you can poke around in and find some stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome, fellas. I do appreciate it.
Sure thing. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for the question, Darius. Yeah, if there are any other questions, we're happy to answer them. Otherwise, we can wrap up this office hours. Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, Ben, Darius, thanks for joining today. Yeah, hope to see you at the next one. All right. Talk to you later.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.